and another welcome back to part 3 of the upgrading the throwout bearing of a Dax Cobra. Thank you for watching the channel. Please subscribe, tick the like button. In this episode I have the hydraulic kit and I'm going to show you how I intend to fit it onto the gearbox. So play the clip. Okay, what have we got here? This is the new throwout bearing which I got from eBay. I then had to get the tubes. This is the bleeder. This is the bleeder tube, and that goes on top here. Yeah, I had to go to a place called Think Automotive, and they're based in Shepperton, and they kindly made these tubes for me. And that's a 14 mil. So this is the bleed tube, and the feed tube goes in the bottom part of the throwout bearing. Now there are many examples of how you do throwout bearings in YouTube, so I'm not going to get very technical about it. I'm just showing you what I'm doing here. So I'll just assemble that. So that's the bearing, and that's going to go on here. So I'll put this to one side. So the next task for me now is to take the clutch fork out of there and the old bearing. That's very easy to do. There we go. And that's the old bearing. That's the old clutch fork. Put these to one side, we don't need you anymore. So now I'm going to take off the bell housing. Okay, this bell housing is off. So the next thing for me to do is to screw the bell housing onto the engine. So you've got the pressure plate in the right place here. I've got to do measurements between this end and where the clutch goes on, and measure this end again, replacing the bearing like so. Anyway, I've got these the wrong way around because the feed should be at the bottom and the bleed on the top there. Okay, I've togged it all up now. and I need to measure the distance between the end of the bell housing and the clutch itself. I don't have my vernier, I've lost my vernier, I don't know what's happened to it, so this is going to be right. The idea is to measure the distance between the bell housing and the clutch. Keep to the same point, which is about the kit supplies you with these spaces here. So basically you put enough spaces, or you put fewer spaces, so that the distance between there and there they also supply you with these. These are supposed to stop the whole thing from rotating, so you need to unscrew one of these bolts, and I just hope that the thread is the same. Yes, this one's okay. This one will do. Brilliant. What's that from here? And that's it. I'm glad that there's no problem there. This one. Okay, so that just stops the whole thing rotating when it's working. I made a quick visit to my local store, Machine Mods, and I've got myself a vernier scale. So, right. So, I measured the distance between the clutch and the bell housing, and I made it to be 120.25. I measured this and it came to 13763, which means that I've got to take off some of these shims, as you can see. So the distance between the clutch and the bell housing is that distance. Okay, so what I did, instead of doing mathematics, I just do it trial and error. So if I take out, let's say I take out half of these shims, put them there, and see what the distance is. It's much easier this way. So really I want to get to 120 and just under. Okay, so yep, the gap is still too big, so I think I need to take out a few more shims. Let's say I leave, what if I leave only 2 shims there? I'll measure again, and there's still a slight gap there, so I think I need to take all the shims out of here. I don't think I need any of them, to be honest with you. And then now where I measure, it comes just, there is a gap, which means that when the bearing sits on the clutch or sits on the clutch fingers, there will be a slight gap. Maybe it's a little bit too big, I don't know, but we'll have to see. It's very, very close though, very, very close. Okay, but at least there is a gap. That's the main thing. Okay, so that's one major hurdle over. So now what I have to do is take the bell housing out of from the car and cut a hole in it so that there is an inspection cover, so I can see whether this is actually right up close to the clutch, or is there a gap. Okay, that's my next task. I've now got the bell housing, and I need to modify the bell housing and get rid of this little knob here. This is where the clutch fork is hooked onto. I need to cut that off. Inspection hole. Okay, inspection cover's done. Now it's time to put the bell housing back to the gearbox. Before I do that, I'll put some Loctite on there. I'm gonna stick some Loctite on all of these. Let's do one.